I'm Dana K. White. I am the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and I'm the creator of the No Mess Decluttering process. My 5-step process will take you through any amount of clutter, no matter how overwhelming, and help you make progress and only progress if you will follow this process, okay? If you've ever said, oh, I don't want to declutter because I always end up making a bigger mess, or, oh, it just has to get worse before it gets better, none of that is true. It is possible to declutter without making a bigger mess if you follow my no mess process, okay? The key to the no mess process is take it there now. You go item by item, making final decision by final decision and acting on those final decisions so that you don't make piles. Not having piles is how there's no mess, because there's no piles, right? We also don't do boxes full of things to deal with later. There are a lot of advantages to taking it there now. First of all, number one, you can stop at any time and your space is only better than it was before. When you know that you can stop at any time, that means you don't have to set aside a huge amount of time to declutter. And also knowing that I can stop at any time is usually the thing that helps me get started, because I'm not making this huge commitment to decluttering. Instead, I'm saying I'm going to declutter for the amount of time that I have. And as long as I am taking it there now, as long as I'm following the no mess process, I know it's going to be worth my time. Okay. All right. But what I'm going to do today is give you 7 things about take it there now. 7 reasons why this is such a powerful strategy in decluttering, because I know it is the thing you resist. I resist it. I don't like it. Nobody likes to take it there now. And yet it's the key to decluttering without making a bigger mess. Okay. Number 1 thing to know about the take it there now strategy. It doesn't have to be one item at a time. Okay. You can take other things that are going to the same place as the item that you're taking there now. This is what that means. If you pick up an item and you say, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And your answer is the shelf above the microwave, you need to take it there now. But look at the space and say, is there anything here that also goes to that same place and I can take it all at the same time? Okay. Here are 2 real life times when I did that. Okay. You see how much stuff is in my hands. But the key is that it's only what I can fit in my hands. I'm not going to put it in a box because a box is way too easy to set down for later, which is how you end up with random boxes full of random things throughout your house that you're like, oh, I did figure out what I was going to do with that, but now I don't remember. And then it's its own thing to declutter, right? So only what you can hold in your hands, you can take it there now. It's perfectly fine to take more than one thing. It's not one thing at a time. I do want to tell you though, that if you do this and you find yourself struggling, having to rethink through, wait, where was it that I was going to take this item now? Wait, what? Or you find yourself getting overwhelmed and randomly stashing things instead of actually taking things to their full home, then take fewer things. Maybe it's 3 items is your max. Maybe 2 items is your max. But it is perfectly fine to do the 1 item if you find that too many things in your hands gets you overwhelmed, okay? I did a podcast with one of my listeners who has had great success with the take it there now because she has a lot of physical energy limitations, right? I'll try to link to it here in the description of this video. But she specifically said for her, it is so much more effective to go 1 item at a time. Taking it there now turns things into obvious donations. I call these donations in my book, Decluttering at the Speed of Life. Getting stuff out of your house is the goal of decluttering, right? That means step 3 of my decluttering process, where I just look for obvious donations and stick them in a donate box. That's incredibly powerful, right? Because it gets a lot of stuff out of my house. It makes the space less visually overwhelming and I'm able to keep going. But so many times, even though something was not obvious at first, When I am committed to taking it there now, it becomes an obvious donation. Here's what that means. So here's an example. My husband and I were working out in his outdoor area where he keeps his fishing stuff. And there were some of these smaller little tackle box doolally things, okay? Like is in this picture. And we picked it up. We actually knew where it went, right? But I said, okay, let's take it there now. Before, when he looked at that tackle box thingy, it was, oh, well, it's a tackle box thingy. And obviously, this is a fishing area and that's a good, useful thing. And so it didn't register as an obvious donation. The reality of taking it there now is the thing that triggered the realization that this is an obvious donation. Now, an obvious donation is not something that I'm like, oh no. An obvious donation is like, oh, of course that can go. There's no angst involved. But the taking it there now, the need to do that, the commitment to do that is the thing that revealed to him, oh, actually, you know what? That can go, right? Where it didn't reveal itself when it was just like, well, it's been sitting here forever. It could keep sitting here forever, right? So that's the key. Number 3, taking it there now turns things into trash, all right? So in our guest room, there were some window things in the closet that the people who lived here before us, the people we bought our house from, had left in that closet. And as I was working in that closet, I thought, well, these look useful. You know, I'm not really a window decoration kind of a person, but they look useful. I bet you they might be expensive. Okay, I should probably keep them. And then I said, well, if I'm going to keep it, I need to take it there now. Well, I decided I'm going to go ahead and put these things up. Even if I don't have the right window covering right now, if I'm going to keep them, I'm going to put them up and then they will already be in their home when I actually get the window covering that I want for this. So I went to go do that. And that's when I realized that it was bent and unusable. And I tried to bend, and then I went, you know what? Actually, it's not that important to me. It is bent. It is unusable. I don't care enough to fix it when it's not easily fixable. And so then that became trash, right? Taking it there now is the thing that took it from, oh, that looks like a good, useful thing to, oh, this is actually something that's damaged and needs to be thrown away. This has happened to me so many times, y'all. I'm sure I have lots of other examples, but that's just one of them. Number 4, take it there now results in random things getting an actual home. So I used to declutter and I could get going. And then I was like, then there are all these little random things and I don't know what to do with them. Okay, that's why I came up with my question. If I needed this item, where would I look for it first? Okay, that is my decluttering question. It's an instinct. I'm not going to go into it here now because I've gone into it in lots of other videos, but it's not a matter of, oh, I know it would be there. It's literally a place where I would look first at the beginning of what I assume is going to be this search through my house, tearing everything up, looking for this item, right? So I came across this drain cleaner doolally in the picture when I was going through those last couple of boxes from when we moved several years ago. We've never had a drain cleaner like that in this house. But I asked myself, where would I look for it first? And the place that popped in my brain was under my bathroom sink. And so I took it there now. That's how I gave it a real, actual home. That's the difference between, is this a good item? Is this a useful item? Well, a drain cleaner, of course it's good and it's useful. But that doesn't actually take it from being in a box and not knowing what to do with it, so it's clutter, to not being clutter in my home. The way that things are not clutter is either they leave my house or they get a real, actual home. So taking it there now gave it that home. It took it out of the theory of, oh yeah, I would look for it in this other place, or, you know, under my sink, or, oh yeah, that's probably where, and actually giving it that home, okay, which is key. Number 5, it builds the confidence in the where would I look for it first strategy, okay? So The way I determine the home for something that I don't know, already know where it goes in my house is, where would I look for it first? I go on that instinct. I take it there now. Zip ties that I came across, I took it there now. And you know what was in the exact same spot? The box of zip ties. So I was able to put these random zip ties into the box of zip ties in the place where I would look for it first. I was a little surprised when I got there. I was like, oh, that's right. We had a box full of zip ties. But that confirms and builds my own confidence in giving things homes according to where I would look for it first. Happens actually a lot, okay? All right, this one is a big one, number 6. Taking it there now is the key to changing your whole home. I used to declutter some here and go, wow, that looks great. Turn around, oh, that's terrible. Declutter some here. Wow, that looks great. This space is back to being terrible. Do you know that feeling where you're like, I can't gain the momentum? I feel like I work on one space and another space gets out of control. I work on one space and another space gets out of control. Taking it there now is the way to make your whole house move forward, okay? Because you're making a final decision according to where I would look for it first, and then I'm gonna act on that decision. I'm gonna face the reality of that space. Is there room for this item in this space? Because in my brain, there might be room, but that doesn't matter if in reality, there's no room, right? So I go ahead and I take it there now and I face the reality. So this little orange pumpkin that I won in a raffle when I was in first grade, and I was so excited to win this little orange pumpkin. This was on the bottom shelf, and I was trying to clear out the bottom shelf of kind of a hidden bookshelf in my kitchen. And I was trying to clean that out. I was like, I don't want this to hold this item. And so I asked myself, where would I look for it first if this shelf was clear? And I immediately thought of the cabinet above my microwave. So I took it there immediately, which it was like 3 feet away, but I took it there right now and I opened that cabinet, and in that cabinet, there was no room for it. This cabinet was a little janky, right? But also just, there was no room for this ceramic pumpkin because I didn't want to shove it because that would mean it's not functional, right? But also it could damage the pumpkin. So all I had to do was ask myself, what in this space deserves to be in my house less than the ceramic pumpkin that I won in 1980, right? Like, what in this space needs to leave my house so that I make room for this thing that is meaningful for me? Like, I wanted to keep the pumpkin. I needed to give it a space. When I asked myself that question, I saw the gray storage thingy that actually was somebody had given my husband tamales and had put them in that and said, keep it. Well, it was a great thing. I didn't have space in my own place where I keep things, food storage stuff. And so I was going to blame it on my husband, but it very well could have been me. We shoved it up there. Okay. And that is how we actually move the whole house forward, is that item left my house. It became an obvious donation because I needed to make space for this thing that did deserve space. This is how I move my whole house forward, right? Instead of just shoving this thing in here and making this space worse, that now it has to be its own decluttering project. Instead, I was able to remove something that all it took was me saying, is there anything in here that's an obvious donation? Oh yes, that big gray container. That's an obvious donation. But if I'm asking myself, is it a good container? Well, of course it's a good container. If I'm asking myself, is it a good orange pumpkin from 1980? Of course it's a good orange pumpkin from 1980. Is it a good this? Is it a good? Yeah, it's all good. I could use it all. I absolutely could use that container. But the reality is the space I have is the space I have. And if something deserves to be in my house, it deserves to have a real space where it's not clutter. And therefore, something has to leave in order to make that space. And that's facing the reality of the space, which I believe is equally important in this whole take it there now thing. It's not just that I'm not making piles. It's also that I'm facing the reality of the space. That's what moves my whole house forward. Okay. All right. Just to be clear, that gray container went in the donate box. It left my house because it was not as important as the thing that needed to go in there. Things need to leave my house. That's how my whole house moves forward. And I don't just move things from one place to another in the name of decluttering, when actually that's just really stuff shifting. And last but not least, my number 7 reason why the take it there now is so incredibly powerful in transforming my home is that it's practice that changes how I think about procrastinating. Every single time I take it there now, even if I resisted with every fiber of my being, I'm always glad I did it. Every single time. Because I have completed dealing with that item. Every time I take it there now, every time I have to get rid of something else to make the space for it, or I decide, you know what, it's not that important to me, and actually it can go. Every time I take it there now, I experience, oh, this is powerful in my life, because it takes something, some piece of clutter that has just kind of been living in my brain as something that I'm going to have to deal with at some point in the future. And when am I going to do that and all that? It takes it off of the list. It's in its real home. I don't have to think about it anymore. Every single time that I do that, I get this experience with not procrastinating and the power of not procrastinating in my life. And it changes how I view all kinds of other things in my life, because I'm like, you know what? If I will do this now, I never have to think about it again, right? If I will do this now, when I need this item, it's going to be in the first place where I look for it. Maybe the second if I think differently, but it's generally in the first place where I look for it. It is going to make my life easier in the future. It's going to be one less thing stressing out my brain, whether I am or am not conscious of the fact that it's stressing out my brain. And that changes how I think about things. And that changes what used to be my natural reaction to this. Yeah, I threw away almost an entire Costco-sized package of Rotel. If you're not from Texas, some people say they don't have this. It's basically just tomatoes and green chilies, right? Like, you know, in a can. That was painful. I did not want to do that. I like to not be wasteful. I like to think things through. I like to do the very best thing. I am an idealist, but the reality is somehow, some way, that entire package got forgotten about and then it expired, right? I'm going to tell you that my natural instinct is to pretend that didn't happen and to think things like, oh, I wonder if it's really okay to eat or not. I wonder, maybe I should look that up. I wonder if I know somebody who is willing to eat things that are expired, because some people are really, really vocal about that, right? I wonder my tendency is just to leave it there because I feel guilty about it, right? Like I feel terrible that happened. But when I went to make a recipe and I needed Rotel and I was all excited to go and get a can out of this thing that I had just realized was there, this package. And then I happened to check the expiration date and saw, oh, these are expired. I think I used that one can and then I threw away the rest. Because I know the power of being done, even if it's painful. I know the power of not having to think about this item again because it was already making me feel guilty. It was already making me feel bad. I was already feeling irritated with myself. But if I go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and throw it in the trash, then I don't have to think about it anymore. And because of all of my experience with Take It There Now, I see the value in that. And I crave never having to think about it again, right? And so it changes how I view so many situations, which ultimately has changed my home and has really changed so much about me as I have experienced the power of taking it there now. So my encouragement to you, this video is not just here to convince you to take it there now. It's to give you more things to think about, because the thing that will convince you to take it there now is trying it. Just try it. Just see. Give yourself permission to say, I am just going to experiment with the Take It There Now strategy of Dana's No Mess Decluttering process, the 5 steps. I'm just going to see what happens. She's probably wrong. She gave all these different examples, but she's probably wrong, because I know how it is, right? Go ahead and try it and see, because the most powerful way to convince yourself to take it there now is to take it there now and experience the power of it. Okay? All right. I hope this was helpful. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.